989898. That's secure to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hey everybody, this is Sarge.
And this is the Burgundy.
You're on Newswatch, late edition, on News Radio KYRO.
Stay tuned. Coming up at 18 after, we'll be back with all of East Central Missouri's news of the day on Newswatch, late edition.
Missouri Net News, I'm Anthony Morabith. The St. Charles County-based semiconductor producer will receive part of a $400 million Biden administration award to bolster the nation's semiconductor industry. It will be used to help MEMC construct a new center to produce silicon wafers for semiconductor chips in national defense and aerospace. The effort will also create 130 manufacturing jobs and construct a new manufacturing center. Site General Manager Carla Cheney says there's a reason that the O'Fallon Center was chosen.
What we do, no other site in our company does, and very few people in the world do it. There's a limited competition for what we make. So it only made sense that you would expand.
Another lost court battle for a former Kansas City police officer.
A federal judge has ruled that former Kansas City police detective Eric DeValcanier unlawfully entered the property of Cameron Lamb in 2019, violating the U.S. Constitution's Fourth Amendment against unreasonable search and seizures. DeValcanier fatally shot Lamb and is now serving a 6-year sentence for involuntary manslaughter. DeValcanier's family wants Governor Mike Parson to either pardon him or grant clemency, while Jackson County Prosecutor Gene Peters Baker has urged the governor not to. Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, who's running for governor, has indicated he would strongly consider pardoning DeValcanier.
That's Marshall Griffin. A 30-year-old man has been arrested and charged with aggravated fleeing and other charges following a high-speed chase in Jefferson City. It began blocks from the state capitol and crossed over the Missouri River Bridge and into neighboring Callaway County, at which point police say the suspect reached speeds of over 100 miles per hour. It ended when the Highway Patrol and Callaway County deputies placed stop sticks across U.S. Highway 54, blowing out the tires. Aggravated fleeing is a felony that recently became law. For the second time in less than a week, an inmate at a Central Missouri prison has died. Dwayne Jones, age 55, died Tuesday night at a hospital in Jefferson City of apparent natural causes. This is Missouri Net.
Agro-America's mobile app has been updated to enhance your listening experience. Our mobile app now allows you to follow your favorite podcast, quickly access our streaming channel, receive push notifications for your favorite on-air reports, and more. Download the Agro-America app today on your Android or Apple device. Just search Agro-America in your respective mobile device.
Hey there, I'm Lance Bass, and this is CHIP. And for more than 100 years, American Humane has been protecting animals in times of crisis. And if you're like me, your pet means the world to you, and you want to keep them safe if disaster strikes. American Humane's first responders are always prepared to rescue animals in danger, but you can also help. To learn more about disaster planning and keeping your animals safe, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
The U.S. Senate has failed to advance a Democratic-led bill that would have created a right to access fertility treatments and mandated insurance coverage for IVF. Missouri U.S. Senators Eric Schmitt and Josh Hawley opposed the plan, saying the treatments are already protected in Missouri. The Republican says he supports IVF and is open to making it more affordable.
I'm not afraid to take on the big insurance companies. I think that that proposal needs to probably be fleshed out a little bit, but I'm not opposed to that at all. I'm open to the idea. We weren't really able to work through any of these things.
Turbulent weather is returning to Missouri after several days of calm. The National Weather Service says there's a good chance of severe thunderstorms tonight in the KC area and parts of western and northwest Missouri. The state is still buying up tree seeds. This time they're looking for plant species in and around St. Joseph in northwestern Missouri. They include seeds for black cherry trees, butternut, hazelnut, northern red oak, and more. This is Missouri Net.
Hello there, world. It's Dodd from Morning Java. I have a business, and I would not have anyone else insure my business other than Safe Harbor Insurance in Winfield. No matter what type of insurance it is you need for your business, Dave and Holly can help you to get exactly the coverage you need for your most important investment, your business. They're right here in Winfield. They're brokers, so they have tons of companies that they can pick from to get you the best coverage for whatever you need. 636-668-6296.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks ending sharply higher with both the Dow and S&P 500 leaping to new record closes, and the Dow finishing above 42,000 for the first time ever. This after the Fed slashed its benchmark interest rate 0.5%. Big tech stocks were the best performers, with Facebook parent Meta Platforms posting a new record close. Chip makers also rallied, with AI darling Nvidia popping 4%. The Dow up 522 points, the Nasdaq higher by 441, S&P 500 up 95. And shares of Nike are surging after hours following news that its CEO John Donahoe is stepping down, and longtime company veteran Elliott Hill will take the helm at the sneaker and sports apparel company. Shares of FedEx are falling in extended trading after the package delivery giant reported worse than expected first quarter earnings. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013, 800-444-2013, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
Old Monroe Lumber Company has the really big tools you need to get the job done right, not only in the retail store, but in the rental area too. Bobcats, excavators, dingos, and lift equipment, including a 65-foot boom lift, scissor lifts, and more. Need something a little smaller? Old Monroe Lumber Company rents saws, log splitters, jackhammers, water pumps, and dump trailers. Just about anything you need delivered to your job site. Take a look online at omlumber.com.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
The Guardians have punched their ticket to the postseason.
Now the payoff pitch to Jimenez. Swung and ripped to right. There's a base hit. Hitting third, coming for home, Ramirez. He will score, and the Guardians are headed to October.
Postseason berth clinched on the Cleveland Clinic Guardians Radio Network with that 3-2 victory in 10 innings over the Minnesota Twins today. Maybe more importantly for the Twins, they've now fallen into a tie with the Tigers for the final wild card in the American League. Orioles topped the Giants 5-3. Anthony Santander, a 2-run shot, won it for the O's in the bottom of the ninth inning. Braves took care of the Reds 15-3. So as we speak, the Braves are currently a game and a half back of the Mets and Diamondbacks for the final wild card in the NL. 49ers tight end George Kittle missed practice today with a tight hamstring.
It's 5:10 in East Central Missouri, and you're on the Newswatch PM edition. Traffic and weather together on the 10s. Starts right now.
East Central Missouri's News Radio KYRO. Depend on it.
News Radio KYRO traffic while heading in toward Lake St. Louis. The accident on westbound 64 near Lake St. Louis Boulevard has been cleared out of the roadway. Now, there are some minor delays from 364 to and past that point. And in St. Peters, there's an accident on the westbound side of I-70. It's at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. The backup for that extends for about a half a mile. And you're seeing slowdowns after that on and off to and past Highway 79 and in toward T.R. Hughes Boulevard. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Few clouds in Troy, getting down to 64 overnight tonight. Friday's high will be in the upper 90s, moderate rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 80s forecast on Saturday. Currently in Troy, it's 91. In Wentzville, it's 90 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate, or farm ground? Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Trax Pizza. Outstanding pizza, sandwiches, and pasta. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Open daily at 3 p.m. Order online at TraxPizzaCompany.com. Call 264-8600 or come see us on Main Street in historic downtown Winfield. Trax Pizza, 264-8600.
When you've got a plumbing emergency in Pike, Lincoln, St. Charles, or Warren County, call Frank the Plumber. 25 years experience, licensed and insured, and emergency response available. Call 636-236-2190.
Hi, this is Frank the Plumber. For all your plumbing needs, give me a call.
Call Frank the Plumber.
636-236-2190.
The very latest ag news from the Brownfield Network, brought to you this hour by the Wrecking Crew in Troy, Winfield, and Vandalia. Call 636-462-1727.
Soybeans and corn are lower Thursday. Cattle finished higher and hogs closed mixed. I'm John Perkins with a Brownfield Market Update. When it comes to short stature corn, it all started with Stein. For decades, they've been focused on unique hybrids that deliver top yields. Stein invented short stature corn, then they perfected it. Stein has yield. Soybeans closed fractionally lower on fund and technical selling. Early yield results have been mixed, generally below expectations in the east, with probable harvest delays in some growing areas. New crop export sales are up on the week, with more than half of that to China. November beans were down 3/4 at 10.13 1/4. January was 3/4 lower at 10.31 1/4. October bean meal is up $2 at 3.1910. October soybean oil is 76 points higher at 41.75. Corn was lower. Corn yields have generally been solid, but near-term delays again are likely in parts of the region. New crop export sales were above a week ago, mostly to Mexico and unknown destinations. December corn was 7 lower at 405 3/4. March was down 6.5 at 424 1/4. And wheat was lower. Paris milling wheat was down ahead of the U.S. session, and the U.S. dollar index was up. Late spring wheat harvest delays are likely due to rain, but that rain in the plains should help winter wheat in the long term. December Chicago wheat was 10 1/4 lower at 565 1/2. December Kansas City was down 14 at 564 1/2. December Minneapolis was 8 3/4 lower at 607 3/4. Live and feeder cattle were higher, getting ready for widespread direct business and Friday's USDA cattle on feed report. October live was up 167 at 179.97. December was $1.27 higher at 181.12. With additional support from lower corn, October feeders were up 382 at 243.77. Hogs were mixed on near-term versus long-term demand expectations. October was up 20 at 82.25. December was 42 higher at 74.30. Brent Barnett has your full look at cash livestock after this brief break.
Pioneer Brand Z Series soybeans have farmers yielding out an additional 2.7 bushels per acre over A Series. This has everyone talking, not just farmers. Case in point, a trucking company wrote, "Morning, noon, and night, it doesn't matter. I'm hauling Z Series. The phone doesn't stop ringing. Even my home number, it never stops ringing." Well, it's fair to say Pioneer Brand Z Series soybeans are making quite an impact. Unleash your greatest harvest yet at pioneer.com/new era.
Lower costs, improve efficiency, increase yields. That's how MFA's NutriTrack program can benefit your farm. NutriTrack Precision Technology helps manage soil nutrients acre by acre, providing the information you need to make data-driven decisions. Grid sampling, zone maps, and variable rate application can put more fertilizer where you need it and less where you don't. It's an investment that can make a big difference through more production and more profit. See your fields in a whole new way with NutriTrack, only from MFA, your whole farm solution.
Country was quiet on Thursday with just a few bids in parts of the north. Asking prices in that area still haven't been established. In the south, asking prices remain around 184 to 185. Significant trade volume could come sometime on Friday. Boxed beef closed lower with choice down 182 at 299.56 and select down 149 at 288.26. The choice select spread was 11.30. Estimated cattle slaughter was 122,000 head, down 1,000 on the week and down nearly 4,000 on the year. Cash hogs closed steady to higher on Thursday. Barrels and gilts at the National Daily Direct were up 139 with a base range of $72 to $79 and weighted average price of $76.27. The Iowa Minnesota had no comparison but a weighted average of $75.74. Estimated hog slaughter was 479,000 head. I'm Brent Barnett, Brownfield.
Every hour of every day, Fox News Radio is there with the latest breaking news and information you rely on. This is a Fox News Alert.
I'm Lisa Brady.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. With Fox News correspondents around the globe.
At the White House, Trey Yingst in Kyiv.
On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News. The news that matters most to you. The top headlines, all in one place. America is listening to Fox News Radio.
On East Central Missouri's News Radio, KYRO. Depend on it.
Are
Are you ready to get in the game with the Kansas City Chiefs radio network? You can win a VIP game day experience, including tickets, parking, and a visit to the Chiefs radio booth to watch Mitch Holthus in action. All thanks to Shelter Insurance. Participating Shelter agents can register you in the drawing. So visit shelterinsurance.com/get-in-the-game to find out how you can sign up.
Contact Shelter Agent Jeff Dunn in Wentzville or Chris Hansel in Overland for your chance to get in the game.
Out and about once again in Troy, Missouri. South Lincoln Drive means Country State of Mind Designs. I'm talking with Lisa today. There's a saying that goes, if your business doesn't have a sign, there's no sign of your business.
That's correct.
So Country State of Mind Designs does so much more than just signs. But that's the main thrust of things, right? You're trying to help the visibility of local businesses to, ensure their viability.
We thrive on helping you guys be noticeable and recognizable. We can do anything from light signs, flat signs, vehicle graphics, shirts.
You guys have a lot more to offer than just signs.
We do embroidery here. We also have the newest and latest t-shirt with the direct-to-film printer. We actually print in-house.
You guys have a great website at countrystateofminddesigns.com. And if somebody wants to talk about an upcoming project, Lisa, how do they get a hold of you?
636-775-1117, or they can email us at csmdesigns.troy@gmail.com.
Out and about in Troy, Missouri at Country State of Minds at 139 South Lincoln Drive. Come see Lisa and the whole staff today.
Well, good Thursday afternoon. It is time for Newswatch Late Edition with Sarge in Burgundy. He's out on assignment today.
Imagine that.
So in studio with me this afternoon, we have superfan Tim Williams.
Good evening, everybody.
How are you doing today?
Oh, sweaty. It's a little bit warm out there.
Warm out there now. And then also to his right, directly across from me, our KYRO political analyst himself, the one and only Andrew Dodd.
Good afternoon.
How are you today, my friend?
Oh, man, I'm doing good.
Yeah?
It's a beautiful, fun day in the news world. How are you doing?
I am hanging in there. It's been, like you said, it's been busy all day long since the word go.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
And we've got a lot of stuff to go over, actually, today. And we've got some tickets to give away. We've got some news that Old Monroe is part of.
Oh, boy.
That happened early this morning. And, I figured also we'd get to some stories that we haven't been able to in the last couple of days. Mail in the news, and just a whole bunch of other wild and crazy stuff. But first, in about 15 seconds or so, we're going to go to traffic and weather, and then we're going to jump right on in to everything that's been going on today, last night, and the last couple of days.
Cool.
And we will be right back.
News Radio KYRO traffic while heading in toward Lake St. Louis. The accident on westbound 64 near Lake St. Louis Boulevard has been cleared out of the roadway. Now, there are some minor delays from 364 to and past that point. And in St. Peters, there's an accident on the westbound side of I-70. It's at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. The backup for that extends for about a half a mile. And you're seeing slowdowns after that on and off to and past Highway 79 and in toward T.R. Hughes Boulevard. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Few clouds in Troy. Getting down to 64 overnight tonight. Friday's high will be in the upper 90s, moderate rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 80s forecast on Saturday. Currently in Troy it's 91. In Wentzville it's 90 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Do your trucks, tractors, or heavy equipment need repairs? Hello, I'm Aaron Lee with Advanced Machine Repair in Moscow Mills. We work on heavy equipment, agricultural equipment, skid loaders, dump trucks, road tractors, and trailers. We offer 24-hour mobile emergency roadside service. From general maintenance to heavy-duty repairs, we have you covered. For immediate service or to schedule your next repair, just visit AdvancedMachineRepairLLC.com or check us out on Facebook.
Boom, boom, indeed. Indeed. Newswatch Late Edition. We are back and on the air, and of course, in studio with me, superfan Tim Williams, and also Andrew Dodd, because Burgundy, he's out on assignment today.
Well, you know how he does. He likes to be on assignment.
He is so busy all the time. You know, I have got a couple of tickets to give away right now.
Oh, yeah?
And the first person that actually comments on the Facebook page for KYRO will nab these 2 tickets here, and it is for the First Christian Church Dinner and Auction for Saturday, September the 28th, about a week from this coming Saturday. You know, dinner served and silent auction will happen between 5 and 6:30 p.m. A main auction begins approximately 6:45, and these tickets, it's $14 a person, and 12 and under is $6. But what's better than getting a free meal?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Wow. Especially those church ladies. I bet they know how to cook right.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, what's better than going to like a church meal? Not a whole lot.
And, of course, that First Christian Church is over in Troy, Missouri, 1302 Boone Street. So get in quick, because I've only got a pair to give away today. And we will get back with you and let you know how to come and pick those up. You know, this morning, Old Monroe, Missouri, which isn't but a stone's throw from here in the Gateway Fiber Studios here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO, here in Winfield. Small earthquake happened this morning. A minor earthquake shook the ground near Old Monroe, Missouri, early Thursday morning. The 2.6 magnitude quake struck at about 3:30 this morning, just under a mile east of the small town north of St. Louis. The U.S. Geological Survey reported that the earthquake epicenter was about 4.3 miles below the surface. So it was quite a ways down.
Yeah.
This seismic event is typical for the Illinois Basin, Ozark Dome region, which experiences frequent but small earthquakes. While not as seismically active as the nearby New Madrid zone, which we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes, the area does see occasional ground shaking activity. Experts say earthquakes of this size rarely cause damage and often mistaken for passing trucks or distant thunder. So how many times have you heard of, a passing that you thought was a passing truck or distant thunder, and actually, it could very well have been an earthquake? Local authorities have not reported any injuries or property damage resulting from the quake, which is good. The USGS reminds residents that while major earthquakes are uncommon in this part of Missouri, they're not impossible. One of the largest recent quakes in the area was a magnitude 5.4 in southern Illinois in 1968.
Well, I wonder if that's related to the doomsday fish that they found off the coast of California about 2-3 weeks ago.
Ooh.
Of course, that's a saltwater fish, but maybe some minnows came up the old Missouri and Mississippi to spawn right here around Old Monroe.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
So, some people know, some people don't. I don't know why they wouldn't, but, they don't teach this stuff in school anymore, apparently. The New Madrid zone. There's been quite a few, earthquakes down there in that area. Mm-hmm. But the most destructive ones were back in 1811 to 1812, and I did a little bit of research about this.
Yeah.
The New Madrid earthquakes were the biggest earthquakes in American history. They occurred in the central Mississippi Valley, but were felt as far away as New York City, Boston, Montreal, and Washington, D.C.
Yes.
In fact, President James Madison and his wife Dolly felt them in the White House. Church bells rang in Boston, and from December 16th, 1811 through March of 1812, there were over 2,000 earthquakes in the central Midwest, and between 6,000 and 10,000 earthquakes in the Boot Hill of Missouri, where New Madrid is located near the junction of the Ohio and Mississippi rivers.
Yeah.
Now, in the known history of the world, this is what fascinates me the most. No other earthquakes have lasted so long or produced so much evidence of damage as the New Madrid earthquakes. 3 of the earthquakes are on the list of America's top earthquakes. The first one on December 16th, 1811, a magnitude of 8.1.
That's a big
on
one.
the Richter scale. Whew. The second on January the 23rd, 1812, a little bit less at 7.8. Just a little bit less. And then the third on February the 7th, 1812, 8.8 on the Richter scale.
That's a big one.
Wow. I'm guessing that's probably the one that was felt in New York and Boston, Montreal, Washington, and everywhere else in between.
Yeah, that's a big one right there.
Now, after the February 7th earthquake, boatmen reported that the Missouri actually ran backwards for several hours. The force of the land upheaval 15 miles south of New Madrid created Reelfoot Lake.
Yep.
Drowned the inhabitants of an Indian village. Turned the river against itself to flow backwards. Devastated thousands of acres of virgin forest and created 2 temporary waterfalls in the Mississippi. That I didn't know. That's interesting. Boatmen on flatboats actually survived this experience and lived to tell the tale.
It's pretty
crazy
wild stuff.
It's pretty interesting. And
now, was that just the Missouri that went backwards, or was it the Mississippi?
It was the Mississippi. And whenever you think of earthquakes here in the States, your first thought always goes out to California and the San Andreas fault and all that. But you know what? The New Madrid fault is much more. It's more active.
It's more active. There's just less infrastructure and people at it. That's really the only difference between the two.
Yeah.
Is, if you've ever been down to that area, there's not really any major cities there that are actually, there's smaller sized towns, but it's not like the middle of LA getting rocked.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. It's pretty cool.
Now they have said, and I have read this many times, that if a major earthquake of like 8.8 to 9.7, that if that were to happen on that San Andreas fault, that it could break good huge chunks of California and push it out into the sea.
Well, think of how much more oceanfront property there would be.
I know, right? Well, with that being said, we're about 20 seconds away from going to traffic and weather, and we'll find out what's going on the roadways and see exactly how hot it really truly is outside here in Winfield and Troy.
Oh yeah.
And we will be right back after all of these messages for you.
Boulevard has been cleared out of the roadway. Now, there are some minor delays from 364 to and past that point. And in St. Peters, there's an accident on the westbound side of I-70. It's at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. The backup for that extends for about a half a mile. And you're seeing slowdowns after that on and off to and past Highway 79 and in toward T.R. Hughes Boulevard. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer and Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. View clouds in Troy, getting down to 64 overnight tonight. Friday's high will be in the upper 90s, moderate rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 80s forecast on Saturday. Currently in Troy it's 90. In Warrenton it's 88 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer and Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. Tensions are on the rise between Israel and Lebanon. Hezbollah's leader vowing retaliation after this week's attacks targeting the militant group's communication devices. Hundreds of pagers, walkie-talkies blowing up at the same time. Many are blaming Israel.
Massive airstrikes are happening over southern Lebanon. This is after Hezbollah and Israel exchanged fire consistently throughout the day.
Fox's Nate Foy in Tel Aviv, an Alaskan man arrested for sending hundreds of threatening messages to the Supreme Court, targeting 6 of the the 9 justices, although they did not specify them by name.
The Justice Department's indicted 76-year-old Panos Anastasio from Anchorage, Alaska. He's accused of sending 465 messages to the Supreme Court website. Prosecutors say the messages contained violent, racist, homophobic rhetoric.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal there. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SECURE to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantage status. So text SECURE to 989898. That's SECURE to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
You know, people keep talking about how much their homeowner's insurance keeps going up and how the prices are just unbearable in these high times. Well, let me tell you what I did. I got a hold of Dave and Holly over at Safe Harbor Insurance, and they were able to save me a ton of money on my home insurance. And it's not because I cut cost, it's because they're brokers. They made it happen for me, and they saved me a ton of money. Check them out at Safe Harbor Insurance. Give them a call at 636-668-6296 and see how much money Dave and Holly can save you.
Well, welcome back, Newswatch Late Edition with Sarge and Burgundy. Burgundy's off doing things, so in studio again with me, our political analyst for KYRO, the one and only Andrew Dodd.
Hello.
And of course, next to me, the super fan, Tim Williams.
Hey, Tim. Go watch some wrestling.
We will. You know, John likes to say a lot of times that, and it's true, a lot of our best conversations are going on in between breaks, and we just had one, and I want you to explain some of the stuff that you were talking about, Andrew.
So there is a current spying scandal going on. Apparently the Iranians, friendly nation, apparently the Iranians hacked the Trump campaign servers several months ago, and they have been giving that information that they're getting off the Trump campaign servers to the Biden-Harris administration, which is interesting because during the 2016 elections, we found out that the Obama administration was able to get a FISA warrant to spy on the Trump campaign. Obviously, they knew they weren't going to get a FISA warrant again, so now they are using a foreign hostile nation who's supplying them. Of course, they're saying, well, they just gave us the info, which is odd because the Biden administration has given them now billions of U.S. taxpayer dollars, which they've then used to carry out random stuff with the Houthis and Hezbollah, etc., etc. So I would be curious if it's not a little bit of a payment for the information they've been getting.
So what type of info are we actually talking about here?
It's not really been disclosed what the info is. Other than they found the leak, they determined it went back to Iran, then they found that the White House had it. And that it made its way to the White House, and they have acknowledged they have it.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it was just movement information.
There you go.
I mean,
boy, that'd be weird if they had movement information, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it really would be.
That would fall.
I mean, what, Trump's playing golf on a weekend, and you know which course?
Well, that story is even weirder because that was a surprise golf visit. He had not intended to go to that and play golf. He just had some free time. There was only 2 hours between the time he decided he wanted to play and the time of this weird narrative with the left's hero, as they described him, this whatever his name was, the would-be assassin who has been
detained.
Yeah, and featured multiple times in articles by MSNBC, CNN, etc., about his great ability as a true American hero and freedom fighter after he wrote a book about assassinating a U.S. president.
Wow.
Pretty
Now
interesting.
that I did not know.
Oh,
That's very
yes.
interesting.
Yeah, he wrote a book about it, and Merrick Garland refuses to charge him with attempted assassination, which is why he's being charged under Florida law, and Florida's refusing to give him to the DOJ because they don't want him to accidentally commit suicide.
Yeah. And I would imagine he's on 24-hour guard from here on out for the rest until the trial and all that sort of thing. I would imagine
right now he's being pumped for info on what the real story is.
That's crazy.
But if it's a judicial system that's running it, how much will actually be leaked to the American public?
Well, it's hard to say because that was DeSantis' whole goal in not allowing the DOJ to be involved.
Right.
Because he released the body cam footage of that guy's arrest before the end of the day. I mean, all of the video was immediately released showing this is what we did, this is who he is, we got him, here's his information, here's his bio, here's his profile. Boom, they dumped it quick.
Yeah.
And that was all because of Florida. There was major pushback from Secret Service. They need to hold that information until they can investigate it further. And DeSantis was like, absolutely not. No.
Huh. Sounds like cover-up.
And this guy set up at that fence with ceramic tiles in front of him as, like, I guess a makeshift flak jacket of sorts, right?
Well, yeah, so they kept calling it ceramic tiles. They were ceramic plates. They were regular plates that go in a plate carrier.
So those were... Oh, so it was regular
those are
flak jacket type stuff.
Yeah, those were ceramic materials he put in there, which... Yeah, you can engineer a pretty solid bullet stop with several pieces of ceramic tile or just the ceramics that come out of a plate carrier.
And it's being put out there that he was in that area set up waiting for at least 12 hours as well.
Which, the weird part of that is, so he flew from Alaska, from Hawaii, there just to go set up.
What?
That's weird.
That's very, very weird. And then, I get it that it was a last minute type thing that, he decided the former president Donald Trump wanted to go and golf. But how do you not go out there and do at least a quick perimeter sweep of the entire area before the man even starts? That's my question. But
if they're on the assumption that nobody knows that he's going to do it, then
you never assume
when
it comes to situations like that.
So there's a couple of key things that I kind of went, what's that? So typically nowadays when you're setting up for that type of thing, you run an ISR drone through the area.
Hold that thought, because we're going to continue on. We've got traffic and weather coming up right now, but when we get back, we're going to continue on with that.
News Radio KYRO traffic while heading in toward Lake St. Louis. The accident on westbound 64 near Lake St. Louis Boulevard has been cleared out of the roadway. Now, there are some minor delays from 364 to and past that point. And in St. Peters, there's an accident on the westbound side of I-70. It's at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. The backup for that extends for about a half a mile. And you're seeing slowdowns after that on and off to and past Highway 79 and in toward T.R. Hughes Boulevard. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. View clouds in Troy. Getting down to 64 overnight tonight. Friday's high will be in the upper 90s, moderate rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 80s forecast on Saturday. Currently in Troy it's 90. In Warrenton it's 88 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Take advantage of Quiver River's electric co-op connections. Save on prescriptions, discounts at restaurants, hotels, shopping, and more. Register for a free Co-op Connections account. Download the app on your smartphone, and you're on your way to savings. For more on this program that gives you incredible discounts on everyday expenses, visit quiver.com. Click on Member Resources, then select Co-op Connections, or call 1-800-392-3709. A tip from Quiver River Electric Cooperative.
Well, welcome back, Newswatch Late Edition with Sarge and Burgundy. Burgundy's out, so in his place, two people. The one and only Andrew Dodd and superfan Tim Williams. And Andrew, you were talking about this crazy guy who attempted to shoot the president, the former president, this past weekend.
Yeah. So he's been praised for years by the left of being this super crusader nutbag that they absolutely love. Unbelievably, there's been nonstop articles for the last 10 years featured on this guy. MSNBC, CNN, all of those have done articles on all of these different things he's been involved in, and they refer to him all the time as, just trying to be there for democracy and liberty. Well, what do you think happens when nothing but the narrative is we got Nancy Pelosi, we got Biden, we got pretty much every hardcore lefty that's in office saying he represents a threat to the very fabric of the republic. Oh, I'm sorry, they don't use the term republic. They like to call it democracy because they're dumb. Anyway, so, there were a couple things. I was watching last night, and his level of protection has now been upped to the same level as what President Biden has.
Should it not have been there the entire time?
Yes.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on this. But my thought process is Obama, Clinton, Bush, they all have the same level of security when they're stepping out as the sitting president. So why is it that President Trump has to fight, as he likes to say, to get the security that he deserves, quite frankly?
Because I'm pretty confident that a lot of this stuff is very intentional. The goal is to leave gaps. There's an article on the Blaze, it's on theblaze.com. You can go check it out. The Secret Service told the Butler police that they would be putting somebody on top of the building where the shooter in Butler actually was.
Oh, wow.
So that the local PD didn't need to worry about that building. Secret Service had it under control. There was nobody on top of that building.
So if you're saying that Trump has heightened security now, and he's in the election, what about Kamala Harris? Are they doing the same for her, or is she just running kind of the same?
She's already had the heightened security level.
Because being the sitting Madam Vice President.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call her. Anyway, I was thinking highest paid prostitute in history. But all right.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, but no, some different additions, like now everywhere Trump goes, he now has a counter sniper team with him, where he didn't typically have that before. Now he has that. Now they're running the ISR UV drone over the areas he's going to speak, which gives thermal signatures. It's not hard to tell if there's one random thermal signature in the woods by itself,
right?
That shouldn't be there.
It's about doggone time.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead, Tim.
Some of you said that this guy is known as a freedom fighter.
Oh, yes.
How can he be a freedom fighter when he's trying to not support freedom?
Oh, because he's pro-Ukraine.
Yeah, this is something that we've talked about the last couple of days.
Oh, yes, because he's for Ukraine, and that makes him a freedom fighter. And Trump is against Ukraine, so, that's why.
Oh, Lord.
And this guy, this Ralph guy, was also over in Ukraine itself while this war has been going on with Russia and trying to recruit people to come in.
He's been going to Iraq, Iran, Syria, and recruiting for the Ukrainian military.
Is he independent and wealthy to be able to travel that much?
Nobody really knows how it's paid for. Yeah, pretty weird.
That's really interesting.
I would track it back to American taxpayer dollars, I'm sure.
Well, that's quite interesting.
Yeah. What else you got for us, Sarge?
Well, there's something else.
What do you got? What do you got?
With all of this stuff that's going on, we really still haven't gotten a full, complete report on the very first shooting.
And you never will.
Really? You don't think so?
No, absolutely not. Chip Roy has been digging into this nonstop, and he keeps getting stonewalled. He has subpoenaed people. The DOJ refuses to comply with subpoenas. He's subpoenaed Secret Service. Secret Service has been told by DOJ, you don't have to comply to those. Don't worry about it. We won't prosecute you if you don't go.
Wow.
Yeah. So the first one is 100% a cover-up. That's why Ron DeSantis said Florida is taking charge of this investigation because we don't want another cover-up by the DOJ.
Yeah, that's so wrong on so many levels that it can't even be counted.
Hashtag Warren Commission.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
We've got about 3 minutes before we go to our next and last traffic and weather update.
Yeah, what you got?
FBI.
Oh, here we go.
Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Federal Bureau of Incompetence.
Investigating suspicious mail containing white powder. Interesting stuff.
So, we talked about this yesterday on the Not Politically Correct show.
Mm-hmm.
See, it even has a return postmark on it.
So, the FBI is investigating suspicious mail containing white powder that's been sent to at least 17 states this election cycle. The latest letter went to a state board of elections office in New York on Tuesday, triggering a mass evacuation.
Yeah.
It turned out to be harmless. But last November, similar mail was sent to election offices in 5 states, and 4 of the letters tested positive for fentanyl. At least one of the recent letters containing flour, and some were signed by the United States Trader Elimination Army.
That's an FBI psyop.
The FBI is warning election offices to be careful handling mail with unrecognized senders. Well,
really? Everybody has unrecognized senders.
Yeah. Here's the thing. No actual organization is going to put a name like that. Read the name of the organization again.
United States Trader Elimination Army. USTEA.
Does that not sound like something that some pencil pusher came up with, Sidney Quantico?
It's crazy.
That is a psyop, just like the American Front Revolution, the dudes that wear the khakis and blue shirts and are obviously FBI agents because they never take their mask off even after they're arrested, and the cops don't really bother them. They arrest them all and they all disappear. Yep. That is 100% a psyop.
Now, we've got about 50 seconds before we go to our traffic and weather update. But other election offices that have received suspicious letters recently include Tennessee, Wyoming, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Iowa, Nebraska, right here in Missouri, Kansas, Indiana, Maine, and Colorado. And in Arizona, Georgia, Connecticut, Maryland, and Maine, suspicious mail was intercepted before reaching its destination. 10 seconds here.
PSYOP.
How does it get delivered?
Sounds weird.
Why aren't we detecting it before it even gets delivered?
That's a really good question. We're going to dive into that. That in about a couple of minutes. But right now, traffic and weather.
News Radio KYRO traffic while heading in toward Lake St. Louis. The accident on westbound 64 near Lake St. Louis Boulevard has been cleared out of the roadway. Now, there are some minor delays from 364 to and past that point. And in St. Peters, there's an accident on the westbound side of I-70. It's at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. The backup for that extends for about a half a mile. And you're seeing slowdowns after that on and off to and past Highway 79 and in toward T.R. Hughes Boulevard. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. View clouds in Troy. Getting down to 64 overnight tonight. Friday's high will be in the upper 90s, moderate rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 80s forecast on Saturday. Currently in Troy it's 90. In Warrenton it's 88 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Welcome to MegaNet. For slow internet, press 1. For indifferent customer service, press 2. For confusing pricing, press 3. For extremely long wait times, Stay on the line. We're 87th in line, 85th in line, 87th in line, 85th in line, 89th.
Where there was frustration, now there's satisfaction.
Hello, this is Helen at Gateway Fiber. How may I help you?
Isn't it time you refreshed your internet provider? For more information, visit gatewayfiber.com.
Well, welcome back, Newswatch Late Edition with Sarge and Burgundy. Burgundy, not here.
Not even close.
Not even close. But in studio with me, the one and only Andrew Dodd, and of course, superfan Tim Williams as well. And again, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me this afternoon.
Absolutely,
not
thanks
a
for
problem.
having me.
You know, we were just talking about the suspicious mail going out all over the place from the United States Trader Elimination Army.
Hashtag the FBI.
You were asking a very important question, Tim, before we
you
went
were
to
saying
break.
some of it got delivered, some of it was intercepted.
Mhm.
Then I was sitting there thinking a little bit more, going, well, how many of the ones that got delivered went to predominantly Republican states versus Democratic states, and the ones that got intercepted, were they going to go to Democratic states or not?
You know, with those type of quote-unquote operations, they're going to send stuff to everybody just to mask where they're actually really, truly sending stuff and wanting to hit.
Right, and
honestly.
the primary goal of a PSYOP like this, because I really don't think there's any question that it's not a PSYOP. It's why it's not on any mainstream news right now. You know, you had the feds faking a quote alt-right group called the Patriot Front. We saw that for over a year, and now that's kind of going away because everybody figured out that they were feds. But now you've got this signed by a group that's obviously feds. Okay, cool. But when you look at it, the idea is this gives them more ammo to talk about how extreme the mega movement is, et cetera, et cetera. Republicans are unhinged, et cetera, even though they're, freedom-fighting messiah just attempted to off a U.S. president. But I don't mind that. It's fine. Very, very
Don't
strange.
mind the man behind the curtain.
Pretty much, because the man behind the curtain in this is pretty much the new Communist Party, better known as the DNC.
Makes me feel like we're living in Oz.
Yeah.
1984 would work, too.
Yeah.
Let's censor some stuff.
Yeah. No, maybe I'm wrong. Well, I know in like your smaller towns, post offices and stuff like that, things are done by hand, right? And maybe in your bigger cities, those mail pieces are done by machine. So maybe that's why, and that's how some of these things are getting through, is that they're going through smaller town, post offices before getting to their actual destinations. Just a thought. What say you?
I got nothing. I have absolutely nothing on that one.
Yeah, I don't know if you could really direct, once you put a letter in the mailbox, which office it actually goes through, except for the beginning one that picks it up.
Interesting stuff. Interesting things to delve into.
Oh, yeah, so much fun. Look at him looking at his list. You know he's about ready to drop another bomb on us right before the end.
We've got about 5 minutes before the end of the show.
What do you got?
Tomorrow night, make sure you're listening here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO, because we've got doubleheader high school football starting at pregame was at 6:50 for the Troy hosting Timberland game. And then, of course, directly afterwards, it'll be Winfield going out to face 3-0 Warrenton. Tough games on the docket.
Nice.
So, some things going on at schools in the St. Louis area. I'm going to read these two real quick here and then get your guys' thoughts before we get out of here. Teen accused of threatening former school in St. Louis County. A teenager is in custody for allegedly threatening his former school. St. Louis County officials said the teen made a threat on social media toward Ridner High School yesterday, which led to a search by officers. This is actually 2 days ago. The teen was reportedly located and arrested outside of a different school, Husky Academy in Overland with a loaded handgun in his possession. His identity has not been released. And then East St. Louis, a couple of days ago, classes continued, but East St. Louis high schools were in lockdown while police investigate a threat against the school. East St. Louis school officials say they were alerted to a threat about violence against the school that morning. And for the safety of the students, the officials were asking parents not to come to the school and try to pick up their children while the investigation was being, still going on. And then also earlier in the week in Boone County, there was an incident with another school with a student. What the heck is going on with these crazy kids?
Nothing. You have a bunch of spoiled brats that are on every possible known psychotic drug known to man. They're doped out of their brain, and they're used to... Here's the problem. In the United States, the American population suffers from something really hardcore. And a friend of mine and I were just talking about this. Child worship. Parents worship their children like deities.
Wow.
And the children behave like angry deities when they don't get everything handed to them all the time. Therefore, they act terrible.
Yikes.
I thought you were going to say device worship.
No.
Everybody's got an iPhone and loves to be on it and tweet and everything.
Really close to what's teaching our children these days.
No, basically because the purpose, if you remember, of the public school system is not to teach, but to indoctrinate. Go read Karl Marx.
Yeah. Now, the St. Louis public school officials have implemented new security measures they say are the result of threats against schools made on social media. The city school district says it's keeping recess indoors for the rest of the week, and district officials encourage students and parents to report any suspicious messages to a trusted adult instead of posting about them online. Another resource is a website called Courage to Report, located on the Missouri State Highway Patrol's website.
Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just where people are going to go swat their friends.
Well,
that's all that's going to be.
Just remember, stitches get...
Yeah.
Well, there is that saying. Mess around and find out.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, great.
We've got about a minute left here. Real quick, a story that we've been following here at KYRO. The legal team for Marcellus Williams is continuing its fight to save their client's life, who is scheduled to be executed on Tuesday, September the 24th. The 55-year-old Williams is set to be executed for the 1998 stabbing death of Felicia Gale in University City. KMOV reports that attorneys for Williams have asked a federal court to take another look at a previous denial of appeal, alleging that potential African-American jurors were not chosen for that trial because Williams is black.
Yeah, okay.
Yikes.
Well, there's that.
Feel like you just hit us with rabbit fire or something like that.
Yeah, it's quick and coming fast. Yeah, and we've got about 20 seconds left in the show. Again, I want to thank you, Andrew Dodd, for coming in today.
Yeah, it was fun.
Also, superfan Tim Williams. Hopefully we'll see you guys again tomorrow, because I'm guessing Burgundy will not be here.
Probably not. If not, join me on Saturday morning, 9 a.m. for Morning Java right here on KYRO. That'll be a ton of fun. We're going to get news and headlines and all kinds of good stuff. That'll be fun. If you get bored, come visit me at Black Flag Outfitters. I would appreciate it. 203 Main Street, Winfield.
There you have it, and have a great rest of your evening.
You too. Thanks, Sarge.
Of its members' communications devices.
Today in Israel, 2 IDF soldiers died as a result of a Hezbollah strike this morning. 8 Israelis are injured. Hezbollah fired anti-tank missiles across the border. Now, Israel responded with several strikes.
Israel claims it struck hundreds of rocket launchers in Lebanon. President Biden praising the Federal Reserve's half-point rate cut, the first cut in 4 years.
It's a moment for individuals to feel greater confidence buying a home, a new car.
The president speaking at the Economic Club in Washington. On Wall Street, stocks soaring today. S&P gaining 95 points, closing at an all-time high. The Dow also closing in record territory after gaining more than 500 points. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, guys.
It's 6:02 in East Central Missouri. Time for the news. Brought to you by American National Insurance to protect your operation. Named one of Forbes magazine's best insurance companies in 2024. And now the news.
Missouri Net News. I'm Anthony Morabit. The Biden administration is investing in an eastern Missouri semiconductor producer to help bolster America's national defense and aerospace industries. The $400 million federal funding through the CHIPS and Science Act will help MEMC construct a new center to produce more silicon wafers for semiconductors. General Manager Carla Cheney.
This is the material of choice for certain space applications and defense.
U.S. Senate Republicans have blocked a Democratic bid to advance legislation that would have guaranteed federal protections and insurance coverage for fertility treatments. Senators Eric Schmidt and Josh Hawley opposed the plan. Schmidt says Democrats are trying to scare families into thinking that fertility treatments are at risk.
But this idea that IVF isn't protected is nonsense.
Another lost court battle for a former Kansas City police officer. A federal judge ruled that former Detective Eric DeValcanier unlawfully entered the property of Cameron Lamb in 2019, violating the Constitution's Fourth Amendment. This is Missouri Net.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. Community members can be your eyes and ears when you're not with your kids and alert you to signs of potential problems.
This moment of calm is brought to you by American National. Because life on the farm is stressful and insurance shouldn't be. American National. Relax. We're here. American National Property and Casualty Company and Affiliates, Springfield, Missouri.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages ending sharply higher in the tech-led surge, with both the Dow and S&P 500 notching new record highs, and the Dow finishing above the 42,000 level for the first time. Wall Street's rally comes after the Fed kicked off its monetary easing cycle with a 0.5 percentage point rate cut. The Dow up 522 points, the Nasdaq higher by 441, S&P 500 up 95. And shares of FedEx are tumbling after hours. The package delivery giant is slashing its full-year outlook after posting lower profit in revenue for its first quarter. Its results were impacted by reduced demand for priority services, among other factors. Nike stock is spiking in extended trading after the sports apparel giant announced that its CEO, John Donahoe, was retiring and will be replaced by former Nike executive Elliott Hill. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
Lawncare, landscaping and snow removal, residential and commercial. Contact Elm Lawn and Land Services, LLC, 636-290-4272. Elm Lawn and Land Services, LLC.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Few clouds in Troy, getting down to 64 overnight tonight. Friday's high will be in the upper 90s, moderate rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 80s forecast on Saturday. Currently in Troy it's 90. In Warrenton it's 88 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
to the No Spin News for Thursday, September 19th, 2024. Stand up for your country. So the polls start to matter now. But the polls, some of them aren't honest. Now, I do my best to filter through it to explain to you who's bringing you data and the flaws in it. Earlier this week, we said, hey, we need gender on these polls because most American women, the majority of them, will vote for Kamala Harris. So if you poll more women than men, you're going to get a skewed result. Well, one polling agency said, okay, we're glad about that. You may remember this time 4 years ago, they didn't even tell you who they were polling as far as Republicans, Democrats, Independents. Now all of them do that. I'm taking credit, for this. But it's my job to keep all of these agencies honest, and I'm trying to do that. Now, I hope you are benefiting directly from our coverage here on BillO'Reilly.com and the No Spin News, our radio stations across the country, and our television outlets like The First, DirecTV, YouTube, on and on. I hope you are directly benefiting. I got to tell you, I'm looking around, and nobody has pointed it out. Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. Is anybody equal to us or better? I want to know about it, because I think we are far and away have the best coverage of this race. And there's no favor to it. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to vote for Kamala Harris, and I've said that. She represents a progressive movement that I think is extremely destructive to this country. And I don't care if Trump wants to eat parakeets, goldfish, or whatever. It's the bigger picture that I look at as an American voter and as a news analyst. So the dopey stuff, easily able to put that aside. We report it here because if I didn't know, I wouldn't be honest. But I'm just telling you how I process information. So the Talking Points memo tonight is again on the race. There's a new Ipsos poll out. Interesting poll. 1,027 adults, 84% registered voted, 14% not registered. Why bother Ipsos with 14% who are not registered to vote? Who cares what they think? Okay, they're not going to have any say at all in this election. It should be 100% registered voters. And even better than that, likely voters. Okay, that's when you really start to get it down. There's no reason for 14% non-registered voters to be in any poll. All right, they're idiots. Gender, 51% female, 49 male. That means the Ipsos poll is skewed slightly toward Kamala Harris, but that could be a point or two. First question, to what extent do you support or oppose limiting the number of migrants who can claim asylum? Total support, 69%, overwhelming. Okay? 27% opposed. Now, President Biden, by executive order, told Homeland Security to not impede anyone asking for asylum. That quickly got out. The cartels told everybody. And so everybody comes in and goes, oh, I want asylum. Biden didn't have to do that. He did it by himself. No Congress, no party.